Hey guys, welcome to my video. Today I'll be reviewing the new weapon called HUSSAR. So some of you already have it, some of you don't. So it is medium dragoon, and in future I plan to do a variation of HUSSAR builds. And I first chose Spectre HUSSAR because you can put 4 on it, and then so that you guys can see like extreme version of this weapon. And I actually put 3 maxed thermonuclear modules on this. So it is let me just tell you, it is exaggerated because it's already MK2 as well. But I do want to show you the MK2 kind of exaggerated version of it, because I'm sure you guys are some of you guys are already thinking about which weapons to max or slowly work on, and once you work on it, you probably want to max them out. It depends on your league and your player, but I am mostly hitting like maxed robots, so think about that as well. So I do want to talk a little bit in detail about this weapon. My one line review would be great weapon, amazing weapon, just in the wrong meta. So that would be one line review. So it's pretty great as far as damage. And is it worth upgrading? Okay, let's go think about this in perspective of solo players. Having used this myself, if I was just strictly playing solo games, sure, why not? If you need a range and you happen to have a robot that you need to fill medium slots, and you have these this weapon, or you are going to acquire this weapon, then it's not bad. It's pretty good. I mean, as far as damage, you can see already, but there are actually better options in my opinion, especially having I guess you would have to compare this with Pulsar, because that is also 600 meter range. It's the reload time is 5 seconds, and then you get full ammo, and you also get lockdown, which is very crucial. And once you get locked down, all the other Ares or other Pantheon bots, or even Aljun, can really target that robot. So it is, I think it is more lethal because of its functionality. But sure, solo games are a little bit more loose. So if this is kind of the playstyle that you prefer, then go for it. In that case, it is worth upgrading, but just keep in mind that there are other options at 600 meters range, or even Corona can lock down at 500 meter, but it's hard to compare that with this weapon. Anyways, if you strictly play in a clan, in a squad, unless you are willing to put it on Ares with Quantum Radar, I would actually not use it, because I think during squad play, even with the anti-control out there, I think the lockdown is so crucial that I guess you rather have, because what are the medium slots that you're gonna use this on? It's most likely going to be Ares or the Fenrir, or even Invader, but you're brawling with that, so scrap Fenrir and Invader, right? So only thing left is Ares. So would you put it on Ares? Yes, with Quantum Radar on to hunt down Aljun, but there are also other options, like I said before, the Pulsar. But as far as the clan battle goes, in my opinion, I think the Pulsar is better at this point. We might end up using this, because if everyone just has maxed anti-control, you might as well do more damage anyways. So in that sense, you would use it. But for now, I think if you already have Pulsar, I'll just stay with the Pulsar and not really spend on another weapon that can do something similar, right? So I think if you have Pulsar, you're fine. I'm repeating this, but so basically that was whether if this weapon is worth upgrading in the solo players point of view, and players that play clan battles or in squad mostly. And I guess some of my points are going to overlap, but let me just talk about this weapon in general, just the pros and cons of this weapon, because some of you guys don't know or haven't used Dragoon. The property of this weapon is pretty much similar to exactly the same as the Dragoon. So the pro side of this weapon is it is very effective against bots like Aljun, which is very dominant in the current meta. And it's also that 600 meters, you can really really hurt or kill Ares, but everyone has last stand these days, so the fact that it doesn't have lock-on time, it shoots immediately, that's definitely a benefit of this weapon. And because of that, it works really well with the quantum radar, so you can shoot right away when you activate this module. And the con side of this weapon is I think there's quite a bit, and some of the points are a little bit crucial because of the meta. And first one I thought of is, it obviously you have to compare this weapon with the Pulsar, because that also has 600 meters, and that got a buff on the last update or so, probably 2 updates ago, or last, I don't remember, but what I'm trying to say is that does quite a bit of damage, and it's able to lock down. And corner shooting and locking enemies down is it's very crucial part of the game. Locking down, even because not everyone has anti-control, and anti-control has quite a bit of it does have long cooldown, so you like during the game you're gonna need to lock players down anyways. So the Pulsar is I think it can be better. So if it's just as threatening, why not go with the lockdown? So basically, if you don't use active lockdown module on this weapon, you can't lock enemies down. And basically what I'm saying is, repeating this over again, lockdown is a very crucial part of the game now. And another thing about this weapon is that this is also a weakness of Pulsar as well. It doesn't do much damage against damage resistant robots. So that's very tanky robots like Fenrir, Falcon, and Invader. You can't stop them. Like, the only way to stop them is locking them down and kind of working as a team to just wear that bot down. And that's where the Pulsar has much more advantage. And especially if you're gonna have it on like Ares, because this is a medium slot weapon, you actually have the built-in weapon shooting everywhere, right? And even if you said, even if you made an argument that this weapon is good to wear tanky bots down, you really have to take into factor that most tanky bots have advanced repair kit or just regular repair kit. They just hide in they would just hide in cover and repair themselves and come back out, and at that point you didn't do anything, right? So, and you didn't even lock them down. So that is the problem with this weapon. But let's talk about the current meta. I mean, in my one-line review, I said this weapon is great weapon, but in a wrong meta. So the reason why I say that is the current meta is brawling meta, and especially in Champion League, mid-range game is not as dominant as previous meta, and to perform well in the current meta, whether you're playing solo or in a clan. Clan is a little bit different because there's always Ares train going on, whether you hate it or not. It's just there, so you have to really consider countering that, or playing that better. So you have to be a threat to Ares and other tanky robots, and there's not many counter strategies to Ares train. I think with the Ares nerf we'll have much more counters, especially like if you run lots of blitz, you might be able to counter Ares train, because their speed is getting nerfed as far as I know, when they're using their ability, right? So okay, let's jump back to current meta though. So you have to be able to kill the tanky bots now. So the Hussar would be great against Ares when the Ares is kind of free to hit, but tanky robots, even though they're slow with the repair modules, it's really gonna be difficult to take those bots down. And there are weapons that you can brawl as well as be a threat. For example, Corona, the pulsar locks down at 600 meter. The Corona locks down at 500 meter within, and you can also brawl with it because that's a shotgun, lockdown shotgun. And there's also Calamity and Scourge. I think the Calamity needs a buff, but Scourge, you can hit enemies at 600 meters, but as you get closer, you do more damage. So essentially you can brawl with Scourge, and a lot of good players actually brawl with Scourge, and that's a great weapon that you can use against the tanky robots, right? Also, you have to consider that we will most likely have Ares nerfed. So what that actually means is tanky bots are gonna be even more dominant. So actually, in my opinion, what I'm kind of afraid of is if they nerf the Ares too much, there's not many bots that can really counter like Falcon and Fenrir. So we might, one of the metas that I hated the most was Ancelot meta, where you just roll out 6 Ancelots and you just roll enemies over. Yeah, we might kind of see that again if they nerf the crap out of Ares, but I'm hoping they won't, because they listen to our feedbacks on test server, and I'm sure a lot of people who play on test server will give a very comprehensive feedback. But anyways, so basically with the Ares nerf, however they're gonna nerf it, they're gonna be less dominant, which means tanky bots are gonna be super dominant now. And the Hussar isn't just great against tanky robots. Anyways, that's the current meta in my opinion, in my eyes, as far as my experience in Champions League, and having experienced a lot of clan battles in the current meta. So that is, I guess, that really sums up what I wanted to say about the Hussar and the current meta. So why this weapon isn't for current meta, basically. And so I hope you make the right choice if you have this weapon, if you're considering whether to upgrade this weapon or not. I hope you really I hope I really helped with what I said in this video. And that's all I gotta say. That was it, and this video is almost over, and I hope my footages helped in my Hussar engagement. And in future I'll probably do Hussar, what's the light version of Dragon, whatever that is, that and some other variations. So keep an eye out for that. But for now, next video I think I'll definitely do the Igniter, because I think that's very interesting. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe for my future videos and notifications. I'll catch you guys on the next video. See you guys.
tra tra trau, 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 trau. Ay, alegría del valle y con su vienel, estaba su vienel, sabete. En la alegría del valle y con el viento del mar, viene de tocao, viento del mar viene de tocao. Ay, ay, te manda un capa.